So this is chapter 15, staffing and the human resource. Chapter 15 is the last chapter for in module 3. You remember it's organizing, right? One of the 4 functions of the managers. In the past 20 years, like when I was a middle manager, right? I have seen many managers or new managers, they have misunderstanding. They think that the organizational design, okay, as well as staffing and then human resource management, or we call human resource development, they think this is the HR's responsibility. When we talk about the organization design, we talk about the organizing process. Remember, we try to design the job, group the job, assign the responsibility, allocate the authority. Remember that? HR is the supporting function, the operation, right, or the core department to initialize the process. And the HR is supporting. To be honest, if you leave it to HR alone, you won't get the good results. They don't know your job very well. They might not be able to effectively hire the right people. Remember, we talk about efficiency and effectiveness, right? This is about the effectiveness. The reason why I keep this that long, try to elaborate this process is it seems this is HR responsibility, but HR is supporting because you will take the responsibility. You will enjoy or you will suffer, all right? Once your colleagues, once your employees, or once your subordinate low-level managers being on board. We will first introduce this staffing process. Actually, when we talk about staffing, we combine the human development, human training, development, management all together, or including that the recruitment process. All right, almost everything. I was in the HR department. I know this quite well. For me, it is like very basic, right? Okay, so when I see this, I think it's easy, it's common sense, right? Straightforward, but probably not. The staffing process, recruiting, procuring human resource, managing the human resource, developing the human resource. Okay, usually we say develop your people for success. Their success means you success. They are able to do your job and they very likely think it is the chance you can promote to the higher level. This was what I have done. So there are like many constraints. Employee perspective, they will talk about salary, right? Benefits, compensation, reward system, bonus system, whatever, right? Development opportunity I get, the PD, right? And then from the employer perspective, we will also need to take care. There is the regulation, labor laws, right? There are like a government. Also, we need to, in China, we need to deal with labor union. I don't know whether you guys will, have these issues, but anyway, that those are the two sides of the coin. Okay, once you want to say, hey, bye-bye, all right, and then there's also, it become very complicated as well. Why? Regulation, labor law. You cannot fire people without any reason, right? Without any compensation. And then also from the employee perspective, you need to be accountable. You cannot leave, without, let's say, notice in advance. You need to leave the knowledge, right? The company will keep the knowledge. You are responsible to leave the knowledge, hand it over. Every time, let me tell you, hand over is not easy thing. Also, we call it like a legal constraint, right? But actually, I extend it a little bit more, okay? So hiring people or staffing, simply speaking, staffing. Always like in the human resource department, you will meet let's say a team, we call the recruitment, all right? The recruitment team, they will support us. And then also, if we want to fire some people, you can also, ask them to support you, all right? They are very professional. they can do a big favor. But the point is that, as I just mentioned, we need to take the lead. The staffing process, as you can see, although this is quite small, right? Human resource planning, or the staffing human resource planning, actually similar to the organizing process. But organizing process is for the whole company, right? But this, I can narrow it down to my department or to my team, right? If you are a manager, you need to make it specific. And then there will be the second process will be recruitment and then selection. Recruitment is like, oh, I send this announcement. I can start to, receive what? Resume. It started to screen, right? The pre-screen, or let's say the selection process or interview, right? The managerial position. I got interviewed 5 times. That was 2004. I was a little upset inside, right? Because 5 times, I would say annoying, right? 1 time, 2 time, you are waiting for the result, and then they say, hey, come, we needed to talk to you 1 more time. And they're 5 times. Oh my gosh, right? Take this into consideration that I would add that there will be a probation period. Probation period, 3 months or 6 months, right? So as the manager, also it seems like a training department will take the responsibility, right? No, actually, you as the line manager, you should take care of that. Sit down, all right? Have a discussion. What training it is needed at this moment, right? What will be the other training and the development PD in the near future, all right? Try to develop the people. For every year, there will be the performance appraisal. I assume, all right, nothing happened, everything's good, all right? Your employee is working hard, and then, as I said, you guys will be the middle manager. I assume you have your low-level managers, right, to report to you, so that everything is smooth. And then the performance appraisal every year. As I said, this is a very important process. Okay, we will get into it a little bit late, but also I would say all is important, right? All is important. As the manager, this is a very good opportunity for you, let's say, to judge or assess, right? Appraisal, Also, it should not say good people, good employee or bad employee, right? But actually, that. And then the very last one is trying to talk about the compensation, right? The compensation, it seems at this stage, we will talk about the compensation, right? But you don't want to have exactly the same salary year by year, right? Same. So for me, performance appraisal is a good opportunity to get, like we call this merit increment, right? Every year, 2%, 4%, it depends. But also, let me remind you, if you get good performance, you get a promotion, the compensation, the salary, the compensation will also have a bump, right? As the employee, no matter staff or manager, okay? I see from this, I get the opportunity, find the job, all right, have good performance, get promotion or get the salary increase. Everything's good, right? But let me remind you, if you flip the coin, the other side, okay, so they try to, instead of like, probably you have, you don't have the merit increment, right? And then probably you will have trouble as well after the performance appraisal. See my point? Performance appraisal, also you can see that usually we use A, B, C, D. A, B will be fine. C, D, trouble. We talk about the staffing, let's say that the process, and then we have mentioned this legal constraints. Why HR should be there? HR is helping us to make sure that we are following the labor laws, right? We are following that, what we can do. I mean, the legal process. Internal reference. I think some of my students, I like this so-called internal reference. But internal reference doesn't mean guaranteed, right? It is guaranteed. You still need to go through the process. This is what I mean, the constraint. The textbook will show us about the labor union. I mean, the legal union is, existing. The legal union, compare with China, compare with Europe, it's not that serious, all right? Someone that will be a little upset. You're wrong. Yeah, I mean, I just comparatively speaking, okay?